As the title says, we are on the same page about getting married, but I have been convincing her that I will propose in 2 years because money is tight. In reality, I will be proposing in about 10 months. Does anyone have experience getting her ring size without her knowing? I tried buying a cheap ring for her and playfully asked her to put it on her ring finger. The only information I found out was that she is not a size 7. Story 1. You both know you are going to propose, so take her ring shopping and get her professionally measured. Just tell her you are planning for 2 years from now. Story 2. Stage an accident that ends with the loss of her right ring finger. Then simply take that finger from the scene. They are basically the same size on both hands. Story 3. My partner recently bought a ring for me. He had his mother text me and say she went through her jewelry box and found some rings she was not wearing anymore, and asked if I wanted them. Then she asked me what size I wore. I was so oblivious to their plan. To be fair, he did not get me an engagement ring, so I was not looking for any signs either. Story 4. The most common technique I have read is to touch your anus, remember the feeling, and then go to the jewelry store to compare which ring feels most similar. Story 5. I used a piece of string while she slept. I used that same knotted string multiple times over the course of a month to track when she would be retaining water. Be prepared to be called creepy if you do this. Story 6. Take it from someone who has been there and done this. Have her pick out the ring or at least give you very specific details. She may prefer to get an inexpensive ring and spend the money on something else. Marriage is a partnership. This is not something to surprise her with. The exact moment can be sweet and surprising, of course, but it should not be a surprise that it is coming so soon. Story 7. While she is sleeping, wrap a piece of string or something similar around her finger, then measure the piece. Story 8. Take note of which ring she wears on her ring finger. When she goes to the shower, put that ring on one of your fingers and observe where it rests. When shopping, find a ring that fits similarly. Story 9. You can do as I did and just use a small flexible measuring tape or a small cord that you will measure afterwards while she sleeps. My wife is a heavy sleeper. Story 10. I took my wife to look for rings so we both had an idea of the style she liked. While we were there, we confirmed her ring size. If that is not an option, I suggest asking a friend of hers to help by saying something like, "Hey, what is your ring size?" Or, "I have a ring that is size X, and it doesn't fit me, so I was going to give it to you." Alternatively, take a piece of string or floss, measure her finger while she is sleeping, and then take it to the jeweler. Story 11. Stage a kidnapping and have the kidnappers mail you her finger. Then you can measure it all you want. I'm sorry for the unserious reply. I just had to. In seriousness, you could get her a cheap ring and say it was in a lost and found box for years or that you found it, whatever. She can try it. If it fits, you know. If it doesn't, she says it doesn't fit. And it's a smooth way to ask her, "What size are you, though?" Story 12. My now husband called my mother and asked her to get my ring size. My mother told me she was buying us matching rings and needed my size. I had no idea. I was incredibly happy with the proposal and would also have loved to have matching rings with my mother. She is one of the coolest people I know. Story 13. Let her know you want her to try inserting a finger into your anus. Once she does that, you will be able to go to the jewelry store and use their ring sizer to find the appropriate size based on what you felt. Story 14. Ask her best friend for help. She may know. If not, she can get her to try other options to find out. Story 15. Casually ask about ring sizes and mention that you have no idea about your size. Play it up by asking her how to find out and act clueless about it. Then ask her about her ring size and how she knows what it is. Pretend to be interested in an hour ring or something similar and say you did not know which size you would need if you got one. Story 16. Take her shopping for rings. Let her pick the one she wants. Save her the disappointment she will have if the ring you picked is wrong. You can still plan the proposal. Story 17. If you are on the same page, ask her. I am not sure why that is not an option. A proposal should always be something you have already discussed. Sounds like you have. Just ask her, "Hey, so when I do get around to buying you a ring, what is your ring size?" Simple as that. Story 18. If she has many rings, there is less chance she will notice one is missing. See which one she wears on her ring finger, borrow it for a day, and have it sized at a shop. Story 19. Short of measuring it yourself while she sleeps, there aren't any tricks. Here are some ideas. If she has rings, maybe ones that she doesn't always wear that fit. You can take one of those, bring it to a jeweler and get it sized. Take her shopping for jewelry. You don't have to buy anything, but maybe let her try some on and get her sized while doing it. This is a good way to find out what she might like, and they enjoy trying on jewelry even if they don't get anything right away. Buy her new rings in increasing sizes until you get the right fit. Try a ring making class. It's a fun date. I did one with my partner, we got sized, made our own perfectly fitting rings, and if you didn't remember the size, you now have a ring for the first option. Story 20. Get a few carats. Insert one into a ring until you can mark the size, or see if it fits on your pinky. Story 21. So my husband, boyfriend at the time, sneakily compared my finger size to his fingers. It was a weird interaction because I remembered it, but it worked perfectly. We were just lying on the couch one day, and he was holding my hand. He held up his hand to mine, moved my hand against each of his fingers, and made silly comments, but he nailed it. Story 22. Just chop off her hand in the middle of the night and size it, then take her to the hospital to have it sewn back on. Just kidding. Honestly, take her ring shopping. Make it a random thing like you're going to get lunch and walk by the ring store. Then say, "Hey, I know we can't get a ring for a while, but I want you to show me what you like. Let's go in here." Then you will know what she wants and what size. My husband asked me to send him photos, so I made a small presentation of what I like, what I don't like, and my size. He loved it, took it to the jeweler, and had a custom ring made. It was absolutely perfect. The surprise should be where and when, not the ring shopping itself. You shouldn't go into ring shopping blind. Story 23. May I ask why you are waiting 10 months? If you know, just do it. If she catches on, and she will expect it every time you take her anywhere. Put a ring on it, man. You don't need it to be perfect, just close. She will get it fitted after the proposal. As others have said, use an existing ring and size it. The difficulty is knowing which ring she wears on her ring finger, if any. So close is good enough. Story 24. Has anyone had experience getting her ring size without her knowing? Yeah, don't. I thought I was being clever and tried a couple of different methods. I grabbed one of her rings while she was washing dishes and playfully tried how far it fit onto my little finger. Or I traced the inside of the ring once and measured the tracing when I got home. Then we actually started going to look at rings and we had her sized. I was several sizes off on both attempts. If you have already talked about marriage, take her shopping, get a feel for what she likes in a ring and have her hand sized. That way, you know you are buying exactly the size she wants. Everything else can be a secret. Story 25. I am a woman. You need to ask her or take her to get measured. Do not mess about with bits of string or unnatural conversations trying to get it out of her. She knows you both want to get married, so just ask her. Also, ask her if she wants to choose her own ring or have it be a surprise. I designed my own because I am incredibly fussy and had many specifications. I do not know anyone from my friend group who did not want to choose their own ring. Story 26. It is probably better to take her to a jewelry store and have her ring size measured. Create a reason if necessary. Story 27. 1. Does she have rings already? If she has one in her jewelry box that you know fits, take it with you. Ask her mom or her friends. Her mom or friends may tell others, but in all honesty, she should know it is coming. If she does not expect a proposal, then that is not a good sign that she will say yes. Story 28. Go into her jewelry box when she is at work. Grab a ring you have seen her wear. Take it to a jewelry store and ask them to check the size. Return the ring to her jewelry box. Go have a tuna sandwich for lunch. Story 29. Horrible advice. Give her sleeping pills, then measure while she is unconscious. Not horrible advice. Ask her out to get measured, but it ruins the surprise. Story 30. Pro tip. Get a friend to help you. She will know you are going to propose and when becomes not if. If she loves you, sharing her ring size with a best friend is an exciting moment. Story 31. Why not go on a date shopping spree where you visit many stores and pretend you are going to buy something for each other at each store? Stop by a jewelry store and compare rings you want to wear. Story 32. Our solution. My cousin was in the same situation, so months in advance we had our daughter start a collection of plaster cast hands of the family, then expanded to friends, anyone who regularly came to the house. We sprayed them gold and used them as cookie ornaments. It became a cute tradition. Eventually, we got casts of my cousin and soon-to-be fiancé. The whole thing was a setup to get her ring size and it worked perfectly. Story 33. You could take her to a jewelry store and ask what she would like for her upcoming birthday or holiday event. Do this around the rings. If she does not know her ring size, say, "Oh, they can size it here," or she will know and have it sized. Now you have it. She thinks it is a gift, not a proposal. Story 34. You'll need to create a distraction and borrow a ring to get the size. Wear something like a ski mask and sneak into her place to startle her. When she runs off screaming, grab a ring and head home. Return it later by leaving it somewhere random in her house. She'll think she must have just lost it. She'll believe she's going crazy, but you'll have the ring size. Story 35. My fiancée does not wear rings, so I lined her hand up with mine and said, "Wow, your hands are tiny." I made a mental note of where her ring finger was the same width as my finger as best I could and went to the jeweler's. I was off by one size, so I had it resized for free, but it was close enough to do the deed. Story 36. My husband took one of my rings out of my jewelry box and took it to a jeweler to ask what size it was. Story 37. If she wears rings, you could try putting them on your fingers to see which finger they fit. Then get your measurements and it will be sorted. Story 38. My partner just took my favorite ring from my jewelry box without me knowing. He took it with him because the employees can determine the correct ring size by measuring the ring. Story 39. My fiancée did not own any rings, so there was no sneaky measuring. I took her to Stonehenge, the most famous ring in the country, and proposed there. Story 40. Do a Mr. and Mrs. style quiz about each other. Have her answer a question about you. She might get it wrong, but from that point on, she will know. Story 41. Why must it be secretive? Just ask openly. You should know her size for everything she wears. Dress size, jean size, hat size, ring size, and shoe size. Lead with a compliment, then ask a question. Story 42. Stage a kidnapping and have the kidnappers mail you her finger. Then you can measure it all you want. I am sorry for the unserious reply. I just had to. In seriousness, you could get her a cheap ring and say it was in a lost and found box for years or that you found it somehow. She can try it. If it fits, and if it doesn't, she says it doesn't fit. It is a smooth way to ask her, "What size are you though?" Story 43. Cut her finger slightly. Wrap the wound with a plaster in a slightly loose ring arrangement so that it falls off when wet. A few hours later, spill water on it by accident. When she throws the wet plaster into the trash, pick it up. That is your ring size. Story 44. I did a funny thing and it worked. I am still amazed to this day. I figured my pinky finger was the size of her ring finger, and it was so on point it was scary. Story 45. Ask her sister or her best friend. If they do not know, they can help. If you have been together long enough that marriage is a conversation, she has thought about rings and tried some on. She will know at the very least, and other girls asking about it, especially if your girlfriend is excited about it, is harmless. My wife told me directly, so I had it very easy. We had been dating for 2.5 years, and it had come up in conversation numerous times. Also, aside from buying from a local jeweler, you should ask about free resizing. Most places will do a one-time resize for this exact purpose. The jeweler we go to does resizings and similar services very cheaply, comparatively. Story 46. I recommend going ring shopping together as a fun date idea. She will know her exact size and styles she likes. Most stores will not pressure you to make a decision, and you can come back at any time. You have already discussed marriage, so she knows you plan on proposing. This does not ruin the surprise, and she gets a ring she knows she will love. Story 47. If you are buying a ring from a proper ring store, they usually offer an option to pay a small upfront fee to include a couple of resizes. Make an educated guess and choose that option. Then you are not trying to be sneaky or taking risks with the surprise. Story 48. If you have convinced her that you are going to propose in 2 years, just ask her ring size. Bring up the 2-year-away proposal in conversation, then joke about it and say you do not even know her ring size. She will tell you, then lock that in your memory. Story 49. I took her with me to try random rings, earrings, and necklaces while on vacation because she loves buying jewelry. While trying different ones, the first vendor asked her. Story 50. Even if you do not get it exactly right, you can always get the ring resized later. Many fiancés do that. Story 51. Ask to suck on her fingers for oral sex practice. Then go to the jeweler, shape your mouth the same way, and try different sizes. Story 52. Tell her you want a sculpture of her palm. Make it once, then multiple times too. Keep the sculpture for memories. Story 53. This is why you get her ring size as early as possible. I suggest you get it now and tell her it is so you know for 2 years from now. Story 54. This is one of those times where you can use the concept my math teacher kept repeating. Ring sizes where I live are basically just your finger circumference. So if your finger is 59 millimeters in circumference, your ring size is 59. You could take one of her rings that you know fits, then measure its diameter. Take the diameter and multiply by pi. This gives you the ring circumference, which is the European or at least Danish ring size. If you use the United States ring size, just use an online converter. Story 55. I did this recently and got it exactly right. If you can, try on one of her rings and mark your finger with a pen where it sits before you go out to view or buy. The woman I spoke to at the jeweler said she had never seen anyone do it that way and said it was the best method. I have to say I was surprised it is not the standard way to do it. Story 56. Just get a relatively inexpensive token ring, a rough guess at size and style, choose a size or two larger than you think so she can actually put it on her finger, do the proposal, and then tell her you can both go and choose a real one at a later date. Story 57. Maybe we are just different, but I am glad we are. The culture of spending a lot of money and then surprising with a proposal is common. I took my now wife ring shopping, not only to get her ring size, but also to find out what she likes. If we are going to invest money in something like this, she should get what she wants. We are both very happy we did this. We went to a fancy jewelry store and had fun. Then I took what she wanted and went to a family jeweler who gave us a better quality ring for less. Stronger marriages are about shared experiences, not cliché materials and contrived moments. Story 58. I just bought a bunch of inexpensive rings from Amazon in different sizes. I proposed with one, had her wear whichever was closest to her size, then took her ring shopping for the real one. Story 59. I had this issue a little while back when I was going to propose to my now wife. I put on all of her rings. She had a few different ones that were passed down or gifted to her. I wore them on my hands pretending I was fancy and teased her, saying her rings were tiny. I asked if any actually fit her, and she showed me the one that fit best on her ring finger. I took a mental note of that ring. One day, I snuck it to the jeweler to get the size and replaced the ring before she could notice. She had no idea. She still thought I was scared to ask her father, but after I bought the ring, I asked her parents for their blessing a few weeks later, showing them the ring so they knew I was serious. We are celebrating our 1-year wedding anniversary next week. Good luck, and may you find your happily ever after. Story 60. Remove her finger and take it with you to the jewelry store. Make sure you keep it on ice so they can attach it later. Story 61. Talk to her girlfriends. It is very likely that they already know her ring size. If you were talking about marriage, she probably already has something picked out and showed her friends in detail in case you enlist them for help. We are very proactive. Story 62. Just get a ring gauge and check her finger. She already knows you are going to be proposing. Just say you are doing it for the future so it is a surprise. Story 63. When she is asleep, wrap some cotton or ribbon around it. Mark the points and the jewelers can size it accordingly. Story 64. Ask her to draw you a turkey by tracing her entire hand so you can put it on your desk at work. Tell her it is an early Memorial Day gift to you. Now take your scissors and cut out the turkey. Take the turkey hand to the jewelry store and see which ring fits. Easy. Story 65. You should know her hands very well. At the ring store, they have fingers and can match it by feel. Story 66. Get a trusted female friend or your sister to go look at jewelry. Have them try on rings, get your friend sized, and have your girlfriend do the same. Story 67. Propose to her with a cheap plastic ring and see how she reacts and realizes it is a joke. If she does not freak out, then you both go to a jeweler and find one she likes. Story 68. All the people in the comments saying just take her with you or just ask her because you should already know you are getting married are no fun. The worst people. Story 69. Ask her best friend and swear her to secrecy. If her best friend is any kind of decent friend, she will keep the secret. You can invite her to the proposal and ask her to record a video or celebrate with you. Story 70. I heard that usually their mother or female friends know the ring size. Some people say you can measure it with a string while they are sleeping, but this might be seen as creepy. Story 71. I printed out one of those ring size charts, pulled a ring out of her drawer and measured. An alternative is to ask a woman at her house to help you. Her mother is an obvious choice or a sister. Story 72. Bake a chocolate cake with her. Use chocolate ganache as icing. When it is time to ice the cake, playfully suck the chocolate off her finger. Now, this is the important part. Hold your mouth in that shape and go to the ring shop. Buy a ring the same size as your mouth. You are welcome. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.